Kausang gitu, Belgica.
Ali Punja.
Lichishi.
Ali Chichi. Ya, mikui pasang gitu.
Indah. Mikui pasang. Gabi masih mikui pasang.
Cara mikun.
Cara
Sak tu mikurangi.
nya sak tapi mikunya Gabi masih nini.
Urpi Shina.
Gabi masih mikun.
Mana urpi ningi? Gabilina.
Gabi masih mikun.
Okay. Gabilina piskuchan.
Mana siuka.
Oh, siuka. Oh.
Gabi
Vulture.
Oh, okay.
Gallinazo.
Ay, siuka Shina. Mata mikurangi.
Hah?
Mushka is mushka nya kurushka. Ay chata mikurangi.
Mana alia chata. Alia taga chata.
Ali ataya aicha. Ali man. Ali warmishina.
Because you can't say she eats like a dove because a dove doesn't eat meat. That's the point. She was eating meat.
Right. A dove eats a lot, but it doesn't eat meat.
Right.
Urpirandi ashka mikunasha. Mana aicha ta mikuchan mana.
Chi shirona taga asigang urpiga.
Imawa asinam.
Kuti urpiga asing shirona kas nata parishari upirikusha ningshe. Kunang rikui pai ba ismata pai aparishari. Asing. Palanda lumu tai mesti apa sih riu pai apa di sharuna gadiunche chiga nyukanchi ismata si apa di shariu kuti miku pinya isma chireko oru piga ismata apa di shapuri na unisha si asin pai ganya shugurai miku buchiwi chiga mana apa ring washam urpius kanyu kanji ismata apa di shapuri chigi
Kang muchila cari aparisha urpishina nya purik mangi.
Nyuka asyangai be aparing mana urpiri mana.
Chiraigo Belgica riman mana urpi sina riman mikun, pero siuka cuenta porque
Nyukancha kuti apa mushawasi chura shamiku wauncha. Chiraigo puchasa ase to wauncha urpiga. País mata pa apareceria o tanya assim pai arikosha
Masami urpi ai hiriki
ariko pai imagina eu acho no canto pai assim ariko
Shiraigo imagina the pudding kai urpi nya
urpi pai
aki pudding
na pudding
aki ningi
aki pudding ya casa saksash kasha
Belgica Kang nyau pa quintas ka quintota tapunata munarani.
Habita po nyanyo
ya Thomas pas pai yapa nya uyanata munara. Rangi manachu kang nirangi shuk atal shukam amarung wawachari maruga tahapira. Chimanda mana aisanata ushasha pai ba mamata kayara yana pachumisha. Chasna nirangi.
Chasna kuinta gara nyuka yaya chita kuinta gara.
Hamba yaya chasna rikura. Kikin nyawiwa.
Nyapa nyawiwa ngarikuskata kuinta gara nyuka yaya. Kasna lewa wapi gagas kani gara taruga taka itu puja wa riki mana yapa atu.
Ima raku kai.
Nya kai itu le raku riki mana yapa atu.
Si amarung wawa.
Amarung wawa.
Chimanda imashina suni ashka.
Chiga pai bachaki vitas liu pilius kaniga kare. Chiga nya kasa aruya kasa shayash kai bia kasa liu tokush kashina mahan. Chiga nya angushin aisa gashkara nigare ti aisa dishanya taruga gani. Ringa kaleri. Utiliata shamuga gashka nigare chileita. Nya chiwashe Leta kali pasari chileta chasma Arau pipai ga manja ya. Rikunya. Was kashina tu wagas kanyara. Kutiata si shamu ya. Imataru ga kalipape. Shamu ni wasila tota.
Pai chupata kachara?
Nya pai chupai bi nya apishka shamu ni
Oh,
chaki.
ruyai.
Pushka nya.
Apishka mashka ruyai.
Ruyai bi ga kasalio. Imastishka shina eskala. Calipa chileta. Calipa chileta. Ya jasna
Like a rubber band.
Pai mama taga kaya gagas kanya karatsu. Kunang pai mama ta kaya uni sa manjari sa. Awa shaira ni gaga ni kawani ga. Riko chega. Kutile. Shewa. Kutile tatsu. Mama kanya. Kai umatal sa sisishan. Nyari kulit kai ru kuas kan ni pai ma. Shamu kanya syukurai. Shamu kanya ya tiu shamu. Syukurai ya kasi. Shamu ka chupa kasa. Kai kungai be liu. Dire? Si piloi pasang.
Pilui pasang. Yeah, wanyui.
Na wanchi pasang ni ka karinya
Wanchi
pilu
pasang.
ni ka kar. Just na amarunga waga apisha ka pai mama takaya kamang ni kumapa.
Ichi taruga, mana ichi yawawa taruga. Mana taruga
Mana
wawa
nya
chaya.
ruku taruga ta
Ruku
kai
yashka.
tukawa amarunga api kamang ni sa kwenta kagara nuka yaya. Mana yapa atun jo api kagang ichi dewa api kang pai mama takaya kang api usha ni kagara. Mana usha shaga. Kanda mikunga wasarunga tiu wari utoya sekarang ini rangi kang.
I was telling her the time that Estella and I were sitting at the Napo River right in the fire pit and we heard this Napo Yakui, and I was asking her, what was that? Ima chariara, painera amarung wawa chari kayang mamata.
De kanda mikuchu ni sa pai kayo sekarang ini.
Mana nyukata estelata mikuchu nisa. Ay mana mas wira warmi ara. Nyuka irki wawa. Irki warmi asa.
Irkita spai ga mikunga mi payati siya.
Janice, did you hear? I mean, there's the sound of calling the mother, but she also, was that like a stretching sound? Because every time that yeah, because
Zu is a slithering motion. It's not really a sound. Kai zu nikpi nya chasnari kusha nya zu muyurina manachu o zu uyarishka. Chi amarung wawa.
Amarung wawa chica pai mata kayo siya.
Imata nirangi nya liu. Didn't she say liu?
well, that's when the mother came.
Yeah.
Mama shamukpi liu pilurika sinamin.
Mana pai mama shamu kanya chi mastita shapik shamu nira mira. Tarugata nya sugar pai pai shamu shamu. Pilurik shamu.
Pero manara mama shamuskai kang ni kange.
Chica ruya ibishi casa lazo tukus kashina shang miranya chileta chasa pik pesa Isaac pes mana pitiria kashkani kakarenya casa angushina shima chi tu chimanda kutin chi ugulu yakshina amaron tu kupekuleta shi Isaac miraga
Kangirangi angushina tsi.
Chi shimiraring paichi imashiraru kakali pakpe
Miraring ay kuti ay sana.
Nyakutliata ti si jakasa muntu tuku pia kutliata si taru ga isari munyara kutliata kali panga kalaring taru ga nigara chiga nyakulata ti si mirari magara chasna rausha kaya gagas ka pai mama tani gagare amarunga chasa wawa api gagas ka nigara
Si ay saring.
Tsi is a variant of zir. which it's like zididi, 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 zididi,
Yeah.
zididi. Amaru
But-
chestnut kuyurik how do you say it? It heaps itself up. Pilurik zididi zid imashinata amarung guna yeah
Ilorinong. O su
Pi-
montong.
monton tukushan yeah zididi 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 ningima
Ziririririririririr. Chica, pascariu minha. Ziriririririr.
pascarium
But there's a difference between what was interesting there is she's pronounced it slightly different when it's opening and when it's closing back up.
what did you hear the difference as?
Bueno, ay sarih bi siri si ay sarih ikuti yara imas naro yarin kay
Casa makuti bulta mga chica casa. Casa pa imasti. Sino siya isa rin casa. Montong tukus ka siya.
Zinung sina
Sino tuku piga niya chica ging kulata siyam kas na malata. Kulata si ya isang chas mama.
I didn't hear a difference between contracting and spreading out, but I'm thrilled that she's saying Z because that's a visual idiophone, and she's using a bounding gesture to describe its extent, which is
let's see if let's just hear maybe maybe it's because she said zinung, which would be making it a verb.
yeah. Sino
let's-
means otherwise or something like that, right? That's a Spanish
Kasi
word.
ikuti rimay imas nara ay saring imas nara kuti shamu.
Si siya isak piga rin. Chimanda sino si kutlata ga bultang.
Si and sinung.
It almost seems like she's not wanting to use Z for when it contracts.
No.
Sino
not.
es ay sari na kulata ka nama. Sino.
Sinong ay sarina.
No, sinung is coming back.
Right. What is sinon though? Is that Spanish?
No.
Sinon, hawal yakta shimi?
Sino mana runa shimima. Sino.
Sinon.
Mana sino nini siya. Sino nini.
Sinon. I don't know that one.
But that's an idiophone, not a verb, although it sounds like a verb.
See, but what's the known? I don't understand what the known is.
Sino asa ka na ni. Sino ka na isas kasi.
Pulling together.
It's almost like a shrugging gesture.
Well, it's a pulling in. It's pulling in. Notice her shoulders are going. It's like the boa pulling back into itself, and she's pulling her shoulders up to her neck.
Sinong. Chestnut? Sinong ay saring?
Sino
Sino?
ay saring chika siya. Kulata. Si ay saring kulata rin.
Mana pachata uyashkani chu kai zinong. Ashka pagarachi. Manangushu shimita yachauni.
Mana tiang michas na di mana guna.
Cierto? Zinong. Thanks for dwelling on that, Todd. That's really important. I thought it was just Spanish. Zinong.
It's like the Waurani that I ask all these river names that are in some kind of related dialect to Waurani, but they can't understand it anymore because they have the new ending. They
Yeah.
always say that they're Spanish if they can't understand them.
That's what I was just doing too. Thanks.
Oh, I just
You'd think
cracked
I'd
me up.
do better than that. I'm just
Well,
I
I've been
apologize.
hearing that all. I've been
I'm
hearing
just
that all this
kidding.
last week.
I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
Other animals do the tingoo, or is it snake exclusive?
Belgica,
very
it's a
sneaky.
great question.
Well,
I-
she says even humans can putting her shoulders together, sort of
Yeah,
squeezing
Runa
in.
Guna Nya Sinu, Zinu, Raganao. Zinu.
Sino. Kung ganda. Sino.
I Shuk Animal Chari Nya Zinu, Chari Rangarang.
Indaya. Sawata. Sino. Kung gata is.
Oh, Tawata.
Sort of pulling its head in.
Yeah.
It's
Tawata
pulling back
Zinu.
into your body.
Zinu.
Sino. Kung maisa ang mata.
Ma? Pumawas?
Ukuma mata isang gatsi
Oh,
mo.
ukuma. Okay. Ukuma ay sang pai wasi ukoy.
Pai, wasi ko.
Y cuando, y paiwa uma kutiliara chitarikpi. Sí.
Chiga, sí, yo fui umo ta kasnama.
Kang
Uma
imagine ta shuti chengi pai ba imina ta yukanira ni pai ba wasi. Ima taningi pai ba kara
Pai
ukoy.
bakara, pai
Pai
bakara.
ba kara.
Nung ay
Mana
sir.
pai ba wasi.
Mana pai.
Ay, pagarachi.
Rumi.
That's
Rumi
really-
shina.
Mhm.
Rumi shina kara.
Rumishina kara. Senji taiya karayu.
Nyuka, si riksishka aruna tiang pai wawito andi. Rikunga shamura chi tulashka wasita. Imangawa kasa tulanaura nisha gustangawa sham. Chiwi nyuka shuk tsawata chariuni wasi.
Oh,
Nyuka
Tara
compañía.
kau soundu?
Tiao mi nyuka tsawata.
Kamba wiba chang.
Nyuka oiba mo tsawata.
Oh,
Pukushka gusto miko.
cierto. Ima
Gusto.
shuti kamba wiba tawata.
Nya shuti chinaura paiba shuti ta chi nyuka randirani shugruna manda chi tsawata ta shuti chinaura galota.
Galo?
Galo shuti manda pakpi galo ta shuti chinaura.
Galo. Ima te galo. Shuk-
Paiba shuti chi tsawata ta apigiruna shuti.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
Chiba shuti tanya kambag manda cari api apai manyuka shugo nya imata nishkange alkuarmi o atalla mama imatanya apai ma chiga nya nyuka shuti chima nya janema mish chasna cuenta.
Yuka ushushi Catalina shuk alku wawata randira. Kai uruna shuti wang shuti chira. Kai ba shuti Walter.
Walter Kona.
Walter.
Chasna cuenta galota shuti chinaura galota nya paktamo siya kunang nya ningaw na galo tiang gicho ni chiga chinyo katsawa tata ni na hinaw.
Oh, ima tupu chariyan.
Nya ato man nya ato
Oh.
chiga paisamo siya quiero ver tu cabeza en chisho pai chi ushiwa chito las katarikung ashamo kona quiero ver tu cabeza nikpi pairiku arunata riku siya umuata kumatsino ay sakpi quiero ver tu cabeza ni paiga waktas pinga rumishina waktas kapay washa tulo ichiwawaga ay malo así este galo ya me hizo doler mi mano.
Chasna shuk wawa chasna nira.
Ay shukawa chasna nirawari mi wawa chi waktas kapay washa tului chiga rumishina waktas kapay ba makina nashka chiga kanda waktak pinyuka makina na kanga malo mas kangi kang mi malu siya waktaw siya nana tukungi makini siya nyukan chida asiran chichiwawa.
Oh. Masna watayu kai wawa.
Cara ichila charinga chare unas bichka nya sukta watamariwa.
Tukta wata. Yeah. Kulpa chira tawatata.
Golpe aja da tata.
Kurang ganda tapung garani. Imashina tang kamba wawa kamba galo wawa.
Ali man.
Kurang shuk wawa yuk tukungi.
Nya kuna shugu tawata wawata chari.
Yupa yapa gustag mani tawata gunata.
Tawata gunata.
Aliman.
Gusto miku mang paita pukus kata churak pinya. Mikonga. Chasna miku.
Chasna ang
Kiruwang.
ang
Oh, pai bachi. Kiwang chiu. Chiu kaninga chasna.
Chiru.
Miku.
biting down and cutting it off.
Uh-huh.
Pero pukushka. Mana
Pukushkata.
mana chawa.
Chao pukushkata miku mo. Chao pukushkata.
Ah.
Yusti siya pa ita sirak miku.
Imata ang mikun.
Pukushkata miku gaon.
Pukushka, so palanda, plantains that people roast in the fire that are very ripe and sweet. They'll roast them in the fire and then they get all. You don't know because you haven't done that yet. Pai mana yacha guarmiang. Mana Ecuador.
Mana riksi.
Mayaki.
Mariaki mana kicking ay nyawi luluwang mana rikushka chan pukushkata. Yuka punang explicau ni paita.
Ecuador bisa mucha nya palanda tamikunga pukushkata mikunga.
So pukuna means to blow, or it also means to ripen. So very ripe plantains will be roasted over the fire, and they're so sweet, they're so good. Ima gusto me kuna. Gusto me kuna. Chasnaya tachu mikun o ashka mashti gunata. Mana aichata miku chan.
Mana aichata mikunyo.
Mana. Ya panga gunata.
Pai miku bang. Ala, panga, pukushka, papaya, miku bang.
Kang nya haulai churangi?
Mana?
O libre?
Watashka latiang watashka.
Watashka. Pai chakita watashka.
Mana pai ba imasti karata uktosha watashka.
Mana nanhayu chan?
Mana chiga yangai bimang mana pai ai chakikindi. Pai bakarai.
Chi mana karuta puri.
Mana chiga kai watashka waskama watashka chile itia.
Belgica miku changi tsawata gunata?
Nyuka ga miku mani mangava talilashkangi.
Cierto.
Au miku moni charapata miku mani tsawatata miku moni.
Ima más saboroso, charapa o tsawata?
Charapa mang mas yapa ali.
Mas yapa ali. Mas imawa. Ali sabor yuk?
Ali sabor yugang niya yapa mishki miko.
We're talking about eating tortoises versus water turtles. Tomas, miku changi charapata?
Mana. Pero yawati miku kanin.
Imata?
Yawati mas naningit pasta say.
Sawata.
Tsawata.
Ari.
Tsawata chu mikungi.
Ari yawati lulonda miku kanin pero tiking charapa lulonda miku kanin pero tiking charapa mana. Mandiksin.
Chasna chi charapa lulung pai lulunga. Chasna lata yachak magang.
Nyukas miku mani charapa lulunda.
Chasna lata yachak manga chi charapa lulung imaginata. Chasna lata imastita charik man. Mikunga.
Ali gustu.
Ima gustu mikuna charegang.
Gustu mikuna.
Kusasha mikuna pai bakarata.
Ya paya janga ya. Duk wita rexi china man pai.
Apoko tarik si chingaronchi.
We're gonna introduce you to everything.
Alima.
Chimandaga you want to pursue the line of questioning about other babies calling to their mothers, or
We can do that.
yeah.
I'm trying to think of things that would cause plurals. We could even just ask about animal families and see if there's Buddhas attached.
Yeah. Shuk charapa chari wawayangaram. Chimanda shuk tsawata chari wawa yangaram. Luisa niwarami kay tsawata shungu iyak man.
Just nanigma now.
Shuk lulung wachang kaibi. Shuk lulung wachang chaibi. Shuk lulung wachang chaibi. I paiguna nya lulung manda yukshisha imashinata asertanga. Imashinata yachanga. Mai pitang mama. Mai pitang imashinata nya paiguna nya chingarig shina nya wachashkatupo. Chasna chan.
Chasa man tsawata gamana paiga shugle wawayanga chu. Tsawata gamai pairi ushkai. Shuk mai pai wawayanashkai shuk. Mai pai wawayanashkai shuk. Chasna wawayak.
Ima shungu ilya, greki.
Ya, yuya basila chirai kuniga na mamata wawata manalaki itaga tsawata shina yuyayu. Tsawata shina shungu yugmangi no. Yaya
cierto. Tsawata wawa shina.
Kanga tsawata yaya mangi mano.
Wawa shukruna wawa mana mamata yakisha paiguna nigana kang tsawata wawa shina shungu ilyak manang chasna nigana.
Oh, choso nigano shungu ilyak mana yakigo. Chita shugo kan imashte música ta cantas canahora. Charapa shungu tashikuangma ukta kungar mana charapaga pai shuklay wawayak man. Charapa
Shuklay, imat ningi shuklay.
Shuklay wawayanga pulayay bipaiga charapa.
Shuklay. Shuk puestoy.
Shuk puestoy wawayanga charapa. Chasnasha pai wawa kalyukshikpi. Pai indi takunuksha pai wawa laruleta pai was agmagaw charapa.
Wawa guna laruay. Pai saki pai guna tukwiranggaw.
Kari wambas pariu charapa gasirigma.
Kari warninde?
Da.
Karanang. Kuiranang wawa gunata.
Laki gmano imati charapa pa wawata. Pero tsawata nya chimana laking nya ang salas.
Shungu ilyak tsawata.
Nya shungu ilyak tsawata maga. Yanga charapa shungu tanya kantas kanara tsawata shungu tanishkash alita kanta no margira.
Belgica, kamba galo tsawata nya alita ya chachi. Pai kari tsawata warmi tsawata.
Warmi mami.
Ya chachingi. Ali shungu yuktokongi nisha.
Masa ribak tus mana yanga nyuka karak pitia uchimanta pai. Si angu pitirik garinga mana nyuka talakinga chura unchi tsawata ga.
Mana kanda yakinga chu?
Na lakinga chupaika.
Shungu ilyak.
Shungu ilyak manchi tsawata ga. Masa karak pis mana laki wanga chura.
Mana? Pero charapa wibata charisha charikpi pairandi kanta yakingaram?
Mana chivas mana lakinga pero nya chiga tia gmauchi lebi mitianga.
Sawata shuk lulung nya
Mai bias pai wawayan kay wawaya si chusharig lamang.
pero karang suglulung mana suklay sinamina.
Mana suglay wawaya chang chiray ko tanyanya. Pai chi imati kumishing apish ka wawanya kumishing wing apik pichi kumishing wa imastik pi wawa tuku ka chiray ko tatsawataga. Mana chara pashina chago.
The suklay, I'm not sure whether it means both all at once and all in one place.
Shuklay, I pressed her on this earlier and she said, I said shuk puestoy and she said shuk puestoy. She said shuklay.
Right. But
one place.
Yeah, but I think it also means
like in one fell swoop.
In one fell swoop, all at once, because the contrast to the Yawati is that they just wander around the forest. They're solitary. They just lay an egg here, and then a little while later they lay another egg, and they never look back.
So they're more solitary.
Yeah, and also they don't have a nest where they lay all their eggs in one place or at one time. They kind of, they wander through the forest and, drop an egg here and never look back.
Hmm.
But that song Charapashungo is interesting because it shows what happens when you pass down traditional knowledge to people who don't actually live and work in the forest. I mean, they don't know the difference between, never have watched Charapa behavior or Tsawata behavior, but they just heard from their grandparents that a tortoise has no heart, and they don't really know whether it's a turtle or a tortoise. They don't know why, and they put it in a love song. You have a turtle heart, but it doesn't work for turtles. But that doesn't matter because all the young people who are listening it don't know what turtles do either.
So does the song mention Sawata as like we need to have it, so we want it Sawata heart, or does it say Charapa Shungo?
Charapachungo, allá voy a poner.
Well, at least they got the right animal for the good-heartedness they wanted to convey. Ay, uya chingarangi.
Aden.
Uya chingarangi.
Here, I'm going to play this. Can I share? Can you share the screen?
Let me see if I can figure out how to do that. Share screen. Okay, share screen.
Well, what you have to, wait a minute. Yeah. So you're the host. So what you have to do is make me the host for a moment.
Okay, how do I do that? Anna,
Well,
do you know?
go to the participants and then click on me. But Anna is really good at this.
And then more. And then make host.
Oh.
Should work.
Okay. Do you want to make Todd Swanson? Yes. Okay. Okay.
No.
Did it work?
Okay.
Oh,
Ahora siguen los juegos Visa Life Miles, donde participas tú. Usa tu tarjeta Visa Life Miles en todas tus compras.
I still can't believe he was a pet tortoise. That just cracks me
Charapashungu tachukuama, Charapashungu tachukuama, Kanda ukta kungaringa, Kanda manayu yaringa, Kanda ukta kungaringa, Kanda manayu yaringa. Wanyi punjaga mami, Kangwa kausasa yuyarkani, Kunang ichusha, Maita shariskan. Kang ruras kachagraguna, kang balya chapawaguna lya, kaibi sakiringa, wakanayak mi warmi, Charapashungu tachukuama, Charapashungu tachukuama. Kanda ukta kungaringa, kanda manayu yaringa, kanda ukta kungaringa, kanda manayu yaringa. Munga minisha, tungu mayambi tiahuni, aswatarurasha chapahuni. Nyambi mayari kusha, kanda chapasa tiahuni, mana shamupi wakahuni. Wakana yami kari, uktalya shamu kari. Cara pasyunggu ta cuku amma. Cara pasyunggu ta cuku amma. Kanda utakung garinga, kanda mana yuyaringa. Kanda utakung garinga, kanda mana yuyaringa. Wakana yang mikari, utalya samu ikari. Cara pasyunggu ta cuku amma. Cara pasyunggu ta cuku amma. Kanda utakung garinga, kanda mana yuyaringa. Kanda utakung garinga, kanda mana yuyaringa. Wakana yang miwarmi, wakana yang miwarmi, wakana yang miwarmi, wakana yang mi.
So, those are- never watched
Yeah.
charapas or sawatas.
They
But-
should have said sawatas instead of
Right.
charapas.
Yep. Wait a minute, I have to turn this off.
Siguro mana ali yuyaiwan niya kanta, pero ali kanto mo.
Ayun ako.
Yeah, give me a charapa heart so I'll forget you, but
Yeah.
charapas don't forget.
Sawata shungu.
Charapas are actually good family, good partners.
Ima sami runashimi, ima sami runashimi bi kanta naura paigona. Ya hawal yakta runashimi. U kangshi. Mana kamba shimi shina yachiwara.
Nadino Tita Kilkaka, Nadino Carapucha. Y payan Arajuno Runa.
Arahunuruna.
Arahuno.
Arajuno is kind of a meeting point of Pastaza and Napo Quechua.
Okay.
His parents are from Pano, I think.
Oh,
But,
you know him?
well, I know who he is. He applied to be a member of Intianga, but he hasn't finished his degree yet. But he's a kind of a well-known advocate for Quechua culture and composer and so on. But I think some of that is unificado kind of mix. It's a mixture of Pastaza, Napo, and unificado.
Interesting.
I'm not sure that who says the who for the derivative. Chapahuni.
Chapahuni. Yeah. That
They
doesn't
said, they
sound
said
like-
that in downriver Pastaza, in the Peruvian Pastaza dialect, they say that, but
Okay.
maybe pita ninong sina Chapahuni.
Sarayaku.
Sarayaku.
Mhm.
Sarayaku Guna?
Chiwarmi kantawarmi sarayakuibi kichwata yachashka shinaman.
Cierto? Y Chiruna Chari, Chiruna Randi, Maimanda Chari.
Chiruna randiga arahuno.
Arahuno. Pero Warmi Sarayaku Chari.
Mana sarayakuibi yachashka rancia warmi tuno. Mana.
Rancia
Mana
Warmi.
runa. Aha.
Mana Runa Warmi.
Mana runa warmi cha.
Rancia Warmi Shina.
Mm.
Chiraigu Kai Violin.
Rigongicho mana kay
Rancia
manda.
Shina.
Runa warmi mana cha tukang gauna. Violinda mana yachanao.
I don't know where I've run a woman would learn the violin. Chasna man. Well,
Also, I think that Sarayaku has become the sort of center of, or one center of composing Amazonian Quechua songs. There's also Archidona, but I think that he's kind of copying the style of the Sarayaku songs, hoping for them as an audience.
okay. We're trying to figure out guna. So we were going to try to ask about animals again and groups of animals and things like that. So what else could we ask about? Like, we could ask about ants. right?
That's a good one. That's kind
Belgica. Nya ukwiguna tianang sajai manachu chi ukwiguna chi ukwiguna. Paiguna wachanang wawagunata?
Inda ukuiga ñapa ipawa ushalata ñapaiga ñalulun yasha mi pawa gagashka.
Lulung yasha pawag.
Ñapawan pawashka washa alpay urman pay rigrawawa ishkurin ña alpawata allasha ukuy alpakuy undari. Alpakuy ñakasa rirunduata ukuy allasha tiyarin. Tiyarisha ña chiwiga ñapayba lulundaga chiwi wachan.
Masna lulunda wachan.
Pay ashka lulunda wachangaraw mana angsalan. Ña kay tuputa wachangaraw pay.
Ichilla.
Ichilla wa ashalata ña chimanda ña atun yasha ña ashka tukun.
So she didn't.
Chimanda ña
She said
miranga
lulung.
ashka.
Okay. Chimanda, let's go to the other side of the animacy. Let's go to something really human-like. Taruga guna, shuklyata chiwachagan, u ishkai tachari.
Taruga ga shuglata wachan.
Mana gemelas, mana ishkai,
Mana ishkai
mana runa shina gemelas.
Mana. Shuglata wachagma taruga. Wagra was shuglata wachagma.
Wagra? Wagrawas. Sacha wagra.
Sacha wagra shuglata
Sacha
wachagma.
wagra. Yaku aicha masnata wachagana. Masna lulungunata
Bagri ga pai cari masnata wawaya ga bagri kaintiru lulung imastish karikoi. Cintiru wawa pai masna wawa.
Shuk millón chari.
Pues, mana shuk millón langa shuk más de millones chera.
Lulung.
Lulung kanya kaintiro akan. Hagan ya chico cintiro ibinya pai. Más na millones de millones imasti bagri wawa.
Y pishkuga masna lulun da wachagan.
Ishkai
Ishkai.
tawachanga paiga ishkai. Warimi kari wawa.
Cierto.
Chipari haipiga shuka warimi shuka kari wa. Chishkanji wa mona shuka kari wa shuka warimi chas na waya pishkuga.
Mana warmi kari.
Mana. Paiga pareja wa mangao na shuka warimi kari wa.
Shukliai.
Nya shuglei bi paiga.
Shuktazimbi.
Nya warimi kari wa wawayangara.
Tukui pishkuguna chasna wawayagana.
Ashu tukuy pishku. Chusku tawawayana shaga. Chishu pishku ga chusku tawawayagma. Chiga chusku tawawayashaga ishkai warimi. Ishkai kari. Chivas pareja angarangona. Chasna wawayagma.
Y cuando si no yara pareja.
Nda, si cuanga so, shuka warimi, shuka kari, chasa wawayagma. Pai pareja wayagma.
Y palo gunaga masna wawata wawayanga. Masna lulunda wawayanga.
Masna lulunda. Paluga ishkai chunga. Ishkai chunga pichka. Ishkai chunga kanjis chituputa wayagma. Ashka tawa wayagma.
Kang ningi ashka lulungunata wawayang u ashka lulunda wachanang.
Ashka lulunda wachan.
Ashka lulunda wachan. Y shonduguna lulungang wawayanga.
Inda shundo asa lulunda wawayagaga.
Shukyata?
Mana. Chiga wawayanga mi kim sachunga. Shuk pastas lata kim sachunga. Chasa lulunda ka imasti chura kau. Chiraiko karang mi imasti chi shundu urmak wawayapi mi ashka kamira kau.
Might be churan kai.
Chi yuyuy bi churang nya yuyush karuyay. Muritiruya api o shiwaruya api. Tarapoturuya api nya pai chundaruya api pai unapi.
Those are the large black weevils that turn into their eggs turn into the chontakuru or moretekuru. Sinamente shundo, yana shundo.
So they turn into the
Well, there's a
chondakura.
beetle. It's a weevil actually. What long nose like that. And it's about this long, and those go into any.
Aywa chi shundu ka shiwai aka shiwairing. Muriti aka muritiring. Chundai aka chundairing.
Right.
Pai acertan chi pai chi mama ganya chiruyatas.
Wawayanga.
Pasa semana nyukashu yarina yura kuchukana. Y kiwi enseguida chi shundo ikuka chivi. Taiwa lulunda churangao. So I think ada taya kuna nyatiang ya cheng ya chontakuru.
Chontako.
They go into any palm.
Okay, any palm tree, and then that's what they. I don't understand how, but they
Turn into the grub that you
grubs
eat.
that people like to eat. Kuruguna nya ichiria nya kai tupuchari kuruguna kai alpai nya tolarisha kuru alpai tolari kuruguna. Imagina the wawayang paiguna ululunda wachana u imagina.
Inda ya chi ruyay bimira kurutas chaylla mi wawaya gaunchitaska. Shuktaga chi shiringa kurguntaga avispa shi wawaya ganigmano. Avispa shi chi manda chi kurumanda tuku avispa shi ruyallaita paitaska lulunwata wacha. Chi tuya kenya chiwi paiga miranga kallari.
So amazing how Betty just took that like a big punch. She won't say lulunguna.
Masna lulunda largato manda.
Lagarto guna.
Lagartuga wawaya gamagang shuka kim sachunga tawaya gama.
Kimsa chunga.
Wow.
Shuka
Yeah, lulu.
punta wachauka sukta chunga tawaya gama.
Ima tupuk pai balulu.
Pai balulunga atung lulung mga kaito pusun. Tup.
Mana mikwipak runa
Na
raido.
kaito po. Traku mga.
Mana
Kaito po.
ali mikuna cara balulung shina.
Mana chiga kasa chamu kunaya lulun cari kan. Lagarto lulung. Mana ya pa. Ali kai cara palulung sina mana. Mana ya pa ali cagang. Chamu kunaya pero nya mikunga ali mana pero ya.
Kangirai kai wan yusha nya mikungima.
Rai kai wanyu he. Mana nya pero mikunga kali man pero mana ya pa kata niskangia. Nya cara pa wakanya gusto mikuna magang ya di ali mikuna.
Just before I forget it, I just wanted to make one observation from farther back. That assumption that if the birds lay 4 eggs, 2 will be male and 2 will be female, and the toucans always lay 2 eggs and 1 is female and 1 is male. I don't think that's observably the case. But it's a widespread assumption. You could ask lots of different Quechua people and they would say that. And that's one of those things that I'm sort of curious as to know, is it because they would love to have a pareja. If they're going to have two kids, they would have a boy and a girl, and they just kind of assume, you
Or
know, that
maybe
when-
it's like from Noah's Ark, right? A male and a female. I mean, there
Or-
could be Christian
right.
ideology filtering into that.
Well, I don't think it's, you know, maybe, but I think it's too widespread, even in
This-
Achuar and
This
places that.
idea of a
Yeah.
male and a female.
Yeah.
I'd
Um,
like to know how she even knows that a tiny little baby is a male or a female.
I don't, or just, right. I don't think you know, I think it's very hard to tell.
Yeah, and it would be
and-
hard to tell with snakes too. I mean, all kinds of
And then
creatures.
also, to generalize, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know how many toucan nests you would have to look in and determine that they were, you know, a male and female to know that.
Yeah,
But there's also just this idea, of course, that the interaction between toucans is highly, you know, yakichina between male and female.
right.
And that's sort of the society that's being created there.
Yeah.
But it's one of those cases where, you know, people assume that indigenous people have their own science and it's deeply correct. And if the indigenous people say something, it's true.
Yeah.
Because they have this deep knowledge of the forest. But I think there are all kinds of things like this that are widespread assumptions that I'm not sure. I mean, maybe that's the case, but I would think based on, if you were just basing on what happens in human life, lots of times you don't have, if you have two children, you don't have a boy and a girl, even though
Right, right.
they hopes for it. But, you know, it's just
Even if
puzzles.
you have twins, you know, it's a toss up what you're gonna have.
Yeah, so I'm curious as to how she knows that.
Belgica, shuk pishku mama chari wachanga ishkai lulunda. Manachu.
Mhm.
Imagínate hace tangi shuk mankari shuk mangwarmi.
Oh, por ejemplo, Sikwanga Iski Lulunda Chani.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Y más nada ser tangi su karianga y su warme grande.
Kotiwari mika ang sa ichilala kiru manga. Kari mi masiali suni kiru yuganga. Mm-mm.
That's certainly true. I mean, cross species males do tend to be bigger than females,
Well,
but it could just be an accidental. You know,
yeah,
thing.
I think this is an assumption, you know, and it's assumption that's maybe based on size, but in terms of lots of ways in which sex is determined, even like in the womb, you know, for example, those click beetles is, or when you open the flower of a
Pitón.
of those, no, those cyclanthaceae flowers that have, I forget the Quechua name right now, but basically the idea is if the sign is longer, it's male because of having a penis. And so that's in a whole bunch of things that determine sex, you know, that while whether the woman is carrying a boy or a girl. Dati kay mas narang chi papangu sisa may kambi chita chimanda yacha nung nya warmi iksayu ka asha o akdi ima tuno wawara
Nya.
charing nya ansa explicangi chita.
Ya, imashte. Nyau pauras. Kunang uras. Nya yachanau warimia kariakta ekotarasha. Nyau pauras. Mana yachaganaura chi ekuranas tas mana tia gagara. Arunaga mana hospital mas puri ganaura. Nya chi uraspi yachaganaura papanguan tianguyuan.
Tiangui. Tianguan.
Na au tiangui.
Ah, tiangui.
Chi
Chi
kukuyu.
punjang.
Eso,
Hikurik.
punya tu. Nya.
Ah.
Chita. Papanguta. Ishkai chunga papangu. Puru warimi tapuk penya. Tapung garang chi imasti wiksayu. Tiau warimi washuti tapisha kahna. Wiksayu waktarisha papanguta tapu gagana rakasna nisha. Imasti mahinta nishkangi. Nya. Shukshuti tapishun. Ñuka chari tapuyma. Ñuka ñaña ilu dia ñawik sayugawpi. Luis Anjoa imotan kario chang warmio chang ilu dia dawa imotan kario chang warmio chang rimang mana rimak pipungata pitis kanginchi. Nya cipa panggota pas kasyarikoy. Rikopi nya wari mi anggarau. Nya wari mi. Kuti syuk pistapupi nya ciwas wari mi anggarau. Kuti syuk tatapupis ciwas wari mi anggarau. Nya sacai purusya nya mai tapupi nya chunga chatukuma chunga papang. Cimanda kuti tapupis nya warimi. Kuti tapupis warimi. Nya chasna. Iskay chunga papang chaymanda randi tapung garang tiangguita. Si tiangguita randika. Luisan kasna chita randika kay umaybi. Luisan jo ay motang karyo chang warimi chang ilu dia daw ay motang karyo chang warimi chang rimang. Rimak pikung gata pitis kang. Nya chita randika. Maki tukasa ci tianggu ita kasna curana curas ka kari akti saltang garang awata maki wi curas ka ci wari mi akti ka curas ka siriusha punjang pas kang garang ciga wari mi mau nya cita tapupi nya casna tapupinya ciga wari mi nya ciwas warimi chunga tiangui warimi iskay chunga papangu warimi mangarang chiwawa
Y más nada de kuring papango warmi asha.
warimi asha ga kahna nya tiapi anggarang kahna siraria goa kari asha ga chiga punda waringarang kahna pundawa cita serta anggarang kari akta warimi ga kasna tas kay bitiapi apis kasina anggarang punda kasna chiga warimi ma papangoy chasna chiwi achaga ganora warimi kari akta nyanyi ganora nya chiwing tapuita tokuchikasha kay baka kari mangnish nya chikari lukshikar chiwas chichasna rashaga nya bing sinakusha nya paiguna ga atallawang nisha paiguna apusti ganora ci apustikpi nya ganang garonnya cierto chiga ci apusti kapaiga tapuna yuyaiwan tiaunya tu imasti apustis kaganya winda ci tapusha ni cirai kupaiga ci tapusha panaku nya winda pakachisha kanga ima nyingi takari nyingi wari nyingi nisha tapun ci imasti ci wing papanguang sasa kama sharikus kawasha chiga
Imata apustishka. Imata apustish.
apustina
Bet.
Apustina. What is it called?
The bet.
apuesta
The bet.
It's a bet.
A bet.
Apustishka.
apustina
Apustina. Okay. Pero mana alita asertarani si tangoi apikpi. Tangoi ta apikpi. Imagine ta asertarani. Asertarangi. Kari asha warmi asha.
chira ko taninya maki kasa tuka ko ta tu kasha mi chura na un tiangui ta kai maki shungui chimi chi maki shungui chura ka tiangui mi kari ak piga saltangara awama chi tiangui mi wari mi ak piga yanga kuyuriusha ganya punja
Anta paskang paiwaik sa sinane.
pas kagam kahna lusu ata mi lyukshi chigaon chi mastio amanda kasa puka lusu ata chi shau pai guna nyena ka pai pinga i shau
Oh,
Harishina
pingai.
Chiga pai pingaita si paskan wari mi ashaga. Chikari ashaga chiga tis salta awama.
Tis salta.
Tis salta awama. Tapusha churak piga.
Kamba kicking makibi.
Mindai kai mi chitapu mi churanam kai maki.
Kamba makita mana rikunata ushani chunya alsang chai nya.
Imagina kai bi casa tu kahari con casa tu casa mi chitianguita tapus ke tianguita kai bi churanam kasna. Chimi kai ga tianguika casa saltangaram imakari akti tes kasnama awama. Chi kai tiangui kai le sirisha punjang paskat Chiga warmi angaro.
Kurang alita explikas kangi pagarachu.
Jadi ansa paskang siname.
Entonces pingai tadi kucing warmi aku.
Warmi akpiganya kaigaita pingaita punjang paskan chiga.
Pingai sina rikuring.
Ha?
Pingai sina rikuring.
Aku di pai ba pingai shaw ya chi. Tiangui ba pai ba pingai.
Entonces pai ba luz, chitangui luz, nya pingai manda nya rikuring.
Ya pai pingai tashi pai gari kuchu ya chahna nya. Chiga warmi mi acerta chu.
I think you'd have to actually watch this.
I have
If
to
you have
watch
the
this.
bug, you could see it.
Kaitari kunata yapa munani Belgica. Ima oras sa riki chito kuni.
Chiga nya sachai bi api shari kuchi pialang nya chishi shamu gang etanguiga. Punjang shamu. Chita pi shari kuchi shkangi chasa. Tapu pichis chasa saltanga udino ga chasna ima stinga. Wanyu na tarandiga chitangui. Nyatangui takang tapusha churak piga wanyu na wawata sacertana la tamang tiangui bi. Tapusha churash kaga nyachi imastiga siriu shalata minyayo ataga ping pai lusu ataga wi wanchinga pai punja piriushka wataga. Dai siringa mana saltanga mana paskanga nyaping wanyu ngarong kai maki shungu churas ka tiau shalata. Chiga wanyu na wawa ak pichasta toku baun yangu.
Yaki.
Chiga laki na yak tamau chan. Nya acertan nyuka mana paiguna chasna nikti. Nyuka nyanya bawa wata chasna ilo jawak tetapu garanci. Ci ronyi ba mayang ak wanyu ra chasna nyuka citapus ka chasna toku. Tiangui bichasna tokoshka nya lukshira wanyura. Nya chiwi kiri ranci. Chimanda nyuka wiksa juga pi tapu gagana ora. Chichasna akpi nyuka nyanyi ludia nyigara. Kamba wawa wanyu ngami dikungi mana wibangi chuka wiksa juga oshkata nyigara. Chiga imanga. Tiangu itapu piping ya patuku nyigara. Riki
Pai ba
wanyu
nyawi lulung ping.
au nya ping nya wing wanyu nga ilakta. Chimanda kutiangsa kau sarik sino tukushnya nya iwaga pu yuwa tukunga mana rikuchigwa tukunga. Chasna chita tapupis chiwas laki mo chasna tukui kalerik pichi lukshisha mana vinyangara wo. Riki wanyushka nko.
Todd, this is another instance of what's that word for portending?
Yeah.
I can't. I'm just having trouble calling it up to my mind right now, but it's clearly a portent
Right.
of some kind.
Yeah.
The tangui. Imagina tening
To tapia.
tapiana. Chitangui tapiagan.
Tapi sa wanyu na pi chasna tuku mana saltanga ni mana punjang bas paskanga sina kenya ping wanyu nga pai baluswa wa pirishka wa punjang agwa maita berde wata punjang tota sindigang. Mana cari di kushka canggih nya ya to mas pai nyari ko bang sacai ari apir kata chimi ping wanyu gang maki churak pitapu churak pi wanyu na wawata.
That's interesting, that ping, because that's use of maybe an eye closing, but here it's like the life going out, the light going out.
Yeah. It sure is. It's like a metonymic use of the idiophone, and she didn't even do anything with her eyes when she said.
No, but notice that she said it's oftentimes ping, but here she says ping with the light sort of sliding out. One other comment on that other pair of stretching out and pulling in. What was interesting about that is that they're paired idiophones of stretching out and pulling back in.
And retracting. Yeah.
And retracting. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of interesting too, because.
Yeah, they're antonyms, and idiophones
antonyms.
do follow semantic patterns of autonomy and synonymy, just like regular words of the lexicon. So
it was interesting.
Yeah, that they obey rules like that. I mean, and they are homonymous sometimes, very polysemous, and you know, they follow a lot of the semantic patterns of ordinary words in the lexicon.
Back to that idea that you know, you can tell the toucans because the male has a larger beak, but she still thinks this about birds that have 4 eggs and that don't have long beaks. So I mean, how would you tell with a, you know, some
Yeah,
kind
I
of,
don't know.
yeah.
I don't know, but I was just enchanted with everything she's been telling us. So I don't, I love what was the first thing that she talked about? There was the changu, and then there was, what was it? It was a flower.
Oh, papangu.
Papangu. She's sisamang, manatu.
That's
Papangu.
a Cyclanthus bipartis.
Oh, of course. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, I'll show you a picture of it here. Oh, I guess we're probably out of time. but-
Papangu sisa dari kunata munani.
Papango sisa.
Mana riksinitu.
Mana riksini?
Mana riksichani. O riksini chari pero pai bashuti.
Ungarish kangi chari.
Ungarish karani. Pai riku chingara. Yukanchita. Even though we're meeting technically, we could discuss a lot of things. But I mean, this has been intense. We just need to give her a break. Abango sisa.
I think I have actually a picture of Belgica with that plant.
With the papango
Just quickly.
sisa?
Yeah, it's just talking about it, holding the plant.
Oh, I think you did a video interview with her doing this.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if it's actually on the website here or if
I must go.
I did it quickly enough. No.
I'll look for it. I'm pretty sure I know.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah, I
seen,
mean,
I've
it's a
seen that
pretty-
video.
it's
It's
a
one of
good
her
video.
videos.
Yeah.
And I can even picture her. She's got a short sleeve blouse on and she's wearing a
Yeah.
skirt.
Yeah. And the flower is
I-
pink.
Yeah,
The flower is pink.
yeah, papango sisa.
Okay, here it is actually.
Okay.
Let's see. Can I, it's just really short. Maybe it'd be, if we have time, I'll just play it or do
Okay.
we are. Can I share the screen again? Let me see if. I
Yeah,
can.
I think you still are co-host.
Okay.
There it is.
There's a couple of things about this. So here's 2 of these.
Papango. Kaita minyo kanchiga. Shuguari mi viksayug au pitapunan kaiba. Paiba sisata apasha. Chi maikambiga. Kari ashaga. Kari lukshingaram. Wari mi ashaga. Wari mi kita. Ashka tatapu pinya. Wari minya. Wari milya tapush kaibiga. Wari mi lukshi. Kari akpiganya. Tuku itapush kai kari muilya tokun. Riman kai. Cierto tamirima. Nyukanchi kiring manchichi kai rimak.
And then,
There's another one though.
yeah, there is, but this is another one about the same plant. Let me just.
Kasna soltera gonata nyukanchi rinanchi. Roku gona nyana. Papango sisa wari mi gona.
Ima rasa ningichi papango sisa.
Imasti pai gona soltera kai papango paskaris kasina. Perfume asna ga ungona pai gona chiraiko papango sisa wari mi gona.
That's so sweet.
Well, there's another one with the actual flower. But
I
I have
know.
to put these on there. I don't know where that is, but
Yeah.
anyway, that's the
But she's
plant.
basically, when she's doing that, when she's basically asking, she says a male and a female name for the future baby, right? She keeps repeating male and female names back and forth really fast, really rapidly. Is that part of the one you're talking about? That's what I thought she was.
Yes, yeah. But there's an explanation of how the flower, the plant actually looks
Okay,
that gives the sign of whether they're male or female. And
okay,
it's analogous to what happens with the bug, the lightning,
Okay.
you know,
with the tangui,
yeah.
okay.
Belgica, imas na hacer tangi mai kambi, bueno, si kwanga cierto charin suni kirura, imachari kari, si kwanga
Warmiga ichillanaya manga, ichillalla kiruyu ichilla. Kariga suñi kiruyu y atun mankariga. Ari si kwanga inda.
pero maikan sutono pisco goni machari ichilla pisco gona mana suni kiruyu pisco same, imas na hacer tangi.
Acertanalla mankariga masiali ali kolorwatan charin. Warmiga angsa pishi nayari kuri nyachas. Naya terikirita pero angsa pishi nayari kuri kolorwatan charin. Chivi
So
acertanalla.
the female lacks color. It's
Right.
not as colorful as the male, and that's very
That's true. But
biologically very sound reasoning.
yeah, so maybe you can tell whether they're male or female. What I don't think is that,
You don't think the eggs are always laid as a pair of male and
well, and I just don't think they are. I mean,
female?
if you look at, I mean, the only kind of birds I've actually raised are chickens, but they never come out in any equal amounts, right?
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think you'd have to have watched an awful lot of nests. And I just don't think this happens all the time. But even
Yeah.
with these, these two examples of the papango and the click beetle, you do it 10 times or 20 times. You know,
yeah.
and
It's
not
like
gonna
a
come out.
scientist repeating an experiment over and over and over again.
Yeah, but it always comes out true, you know, and like on the 10th time or something like that.
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
But I don't think that it's the case, and I don't think that people would generally have watched enough eggs actual hatch and then count them. And some cases it wouldn't be paired, but they would discount it for some reason, just like they're discounting
Yeah,
the times when the papanku comes out of a different gender.
yeah,
But somehow or another, there's the assumption
yeah,
that there will be paired male and female.
yeah, yeah. That's so
And people
interesting.
say this with great confidence.
Yeah, yeah. Todd, we should let her go.
Yeah.
We've had a great session though.
Good.
It's been wonderful, but she probably needs to take a break, and I think
Yeah.
we do probably too, but thank you
Yep.
very, very much for helping us make our way through all of this. It's really been fascinating.
Bueno,
Belgica, Ashka
Belgica.
Pagarachu Kanda,
Nyamani mamanda.
Ashka Pagarachu.
Sinaki
Ash-
jan shamu jueves sinalyara munangi.
Inda.
Belgica cuentangawa o
Ushangichu?
Usha nini.
Alimi.
Amani macho.
Ashka Pagarachu Belgica.
Nya.
Asuma Gustu Yachachi Guarmi.
Okay, well.
I
good
guess
to
we'll
see you
sign
guys.
off then, Todd. Thank you so much.
Pagarachu.
Okay.
Pagarachu.
Mani mamandas.
Semanagama.
Yuk.
Okay. Ciao.
Kunjagama. Shopo epeskama.
Kunjagama. Ciao.
You should